According to the Humane Society of the United States, 2.7 adoptable dogs and cats are euthanized each year due to too many people bringing animals in and not considering adoption. The number of euthanized animals could be dramatically decreased if more people would choose adopting an animal instead of buying them from breeders and pet stores. By adopting an animal, you're making it a part of your family and also saving a life. We've all just considered adding a pet to our family, so next time you should try considering adopting a pet. I weighed the option of adoption over purchasing animals myself and found that this is a better option for us. I've actually adopted 4 dogs. So today we're going to discuss the advantages and disadvantages of adopting a dog over buying from a breeder or a pet store. The first thing we're going to discuss are puppy mills. If you see they're in poorly kept cages, it's really deplorable. These are a factory-style breeding facility. They're mostly raised in really poor conditions. They're dirty, they're cramped, and the dogs are really not very well maintained. They have very little, if any, human interaction. And the mother dogs are kept in cages, bred over and over for years until she's basically discarded once she's no longer of use to them. There's estimated 10,000 active puppy mills in the United States. And in those, the Humane Society records about 194,000 dogs are kept in mass breeding facilities in the United States. So we have overcrowded shelters because they're being brought in a lot at a time. The dogs are usually euthanized 2 to 5 days after entering the shelter if it is overcrowded. 2 days is really lucky because sometimes they're automatically euthanized once brought in after they've received their medical assessment and temperament. Pet store dogs often come from puppy mills. They usually have serious health problems because they have been bred over and over and sometimes interbreeding. They lack training and often lack socialization because, again, they're just for to be sold as a product versus a pet. So purebred dogs, they also have their problems. That includes hip dysplasia, breathing problems, a shorter lifespan, enlarged heart, and they often lack spaying and neutering and microchipping. So the problem with shelter dogs is that they need more attention in the beginning because they have come from environments that have not been favorable and they need a little bit of time to acclimate to their new environment. They're often strays, and they're often given up with their owner because they can no longer care for them. Rescue dogs usually come from when they've been rescued from injury or recovering from injury. They are recovered from ill treatment such as puppy mills, or if someone reports them from animal abuse or neglect. So some of the financial considerations when making a choice is looking at the initial cost. When you purchase from a pet store, it's usually around $500 to $1,500 a dog, depending on what breed. Breeders usually charge anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000 because they usually cover with documentation. Shelter dogs anywhere from about $150, and the same for a rescue, between $50 and $450. Pets from shelters usually cost their owners less money over their lifetime, and they usually have fewer health problems because they are mixed breeds. These fees usually include their vaccination, wellness exams, microchipping, registration, heartworm testing, medication, spaying and neutering so you don't perpetuate the problem of unwanted pets. And also, they have a lot of more testing that you don't normally get if you buy them just from a pet store or a breeder. So if you look at those costs, you end up spending quite a bit of money for the surgeries and treatments. Some of the misconceptions of shelter dogs is you don't know what you're getting, which is not true, because most of these animals were pets from former owners that have brought them in for various reasons, and they're usually house trained already, so you don't have to worry about that. You can also choose dogs from different ages, so you don't have to worry about training them if you're choosing to adopt an older dog. So most people think that dogs enter shelters because of bad behavior, which isn't true. Sometimes people bring them in because they are moving and can't take them with them, especially if you live in apartments. They have allergies to pets. If they have children, they're fearful that something will happen. Or sometimes it's just financial difficulties because having a pet can be kind of expensive sometimes. They also assume that low cost equates to low quality of animals, which is not true compared to breeders and puppy dog mills. They're well socialized and they're usually healthier because of the mixed breeding and lack the problems from interbreeding like the hip dysplasia and such. And they usually live longer. So millions of dogs are euthanized in the United States each year. If families are planning to adopt a dog or adding to the family, they should consider adopting a dog from a shelter rather than buying from a pet store or a breeder, because there are many options available. You can even get purebred dogs if you'd like. So before making this decision, I ask you to visit a shelter or a rescue facility to see for yourself that there are many wonderful dogs available of all ages and breeds. And you might just find that you found a new family member waiting for you to adopt.